Yeah, Jay, well, this meeting has gotten interesting. Yeah, what are you taking away from it so far?
Well, I mean, listen, we've done these education town halls during the interim since my first session in 2017. So, it's to learn more. I mean, I'm proud that the chairman of our education committee in the House has done a really great job trying to negotiate and put together all the loose pieces between our floor, the Senate, and the governor's office. That's a Herculean task, and Brad's worked really hard at trying to do that. What we've got to do is, one of the problems that happen once you get out of Austin is that the rumor mill. If I tell you a story, then you repeat the story. The dilution of information and communication becomes, these poor people don't know what to believe. So our intent here today is to make sure that we sort of clear the air on what's fact, what isn't fact, to get input, which we're getting a lot of great input. I'm very supportive of our great rural public schools in my district, but in all of East Texas, okay? And I've worked hard at that for a long time, even as a mayor, in trying to work with education, training our kids, job skill sets for kids that aren't going to go to college and things such as that. But it's to have an ear to the constituents, to our public, to understand what their concerns are and what their questions are, so where when bill drafting starts, we've got a lot of input to work with.
Now, one thing that didn't come up that much really was school vouchers.
Yeah.
And so, well, how do you personally?
Well, I think it's pretty clear in my record. I mean, I've been against vouchers, and I will continue to represent my district. What I'm trying to do right now is understand that, okay, if there's a bill that comes to the floor on vouchers, it's how do we work to make sure I can either vote against the voucher bill. If the governor made it very clear with this primary election, about getting rid of the other Republicans that included me, they called us the Dirty 24. Now we're down to maybe 38 or so, that stood against vouchers and pretty much blocked all that. If that vote changes and vouchers are going to come to the floor and vouchers are going to pass, I don't intend to vote for that, but yet I haven't seen a bill. So what are the things we do to protect and minimize the amount of hurt that our great public schools are gonna have when it comes to losing, allotment, to other schools. So there's just a lot of things that we've got to look at, discuss, in trying to craft a bill that's a bill for the entire state, but in particular for our region, that gives us some level of comfort, if you will, but of protection against an already difficult situation that our schools are in now. To apply more hurt to them is in trying to keep teachers, and this whole thing is we've got to work hard to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and some of the superintendents that were speaking here were bringing up the fact that a lot of it has to do. A lot of the problems that are in schools these days that the students are having are stemming from the parents.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, we don't live with social media today, and media and the real-time information that people see. I mean, you'd have to live under a rock to not see that there's just a lot of parents out there that really don't put educating their child at the epicenter of that family unit, right? And then the schools are tasked with trying to take that poor child and educate them, and like Superintendent Cluxton says, make them and help them to be a productive citizen of society. And I think the parents need to be held accountable. I think we need to find ways to make them accountable.
And another interesting issue was brought up: smartphones.
Yeah.
Tablets.
Yeah. Hey, listen. I listen to a lot of superintendents say, "Hey, take the cell phones away from them." How How can a kid be learning when they're sitting here doing this? Look at adults. How many hours a day do you sit on this? How many hours a day does an average adult stay on this thing? And now we got kids. I see kids that are, 6, 7, 8 years old walking around with this, and they got their. Listen, we cannot have that interference. And if there's a way to do this, and according to Chairman Buckley, there's already a way for school boards and schools to do this, and they should enact measures on their own without having a big government from Austin come and tell you what you're gonna do or have to do. Local control is very important to me. It's very important to a lot of our school districts too. Exercise what you already have in place that you can do.
Well, it's just very complicated.
Yep.
It's very complicated to try to make everybody happy.
Well, that's not going to happen.
No, it's just not.
It won't happen. But what we have to do is, I think, to me, it's common sense, and it starts with making sure we're doing the best we can for our children, in educating our children, giving our children a chance, okay, to be successful in their adult years and whatnot. And that should be what our primary concern is no matter, because our Constitution is clear, we will educate all kids. It doesn't separate the special need kids from the problem. It's all kids. So how do we enact legislation every session, making sure that we're doing all we can to give our kids, our Texas kids, a fighting chance to be successful in life? And that's what I want to do.